Hello, so I realise I haven't done an audio vlog in a while. Now the reason I'm doing this one with no video in the background is because I really don't have time to edit together any Battlefield footage today, and it wouldn't apply to what's going to be in this video anyway, so all you're going to get is a few still pictures to illustrate points, and that's about it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is something new that I've bought, and it's this mini PC. Now when you look at its specifications, quad core Atom processor, it's got Intel graphics, 2 gigs of DDR3, 32 gigs of storage, it's got Bluetooth, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got Ethernet, it's got HDMI to connect it to a monitor or a TV, it's got 2 USB ports, 1 micro USB port, and it's got a card slot so you can extend its memory. Pretty much low spec machine, but it does run a full version of Windows 10, and what this is going to be is my new YouTube upload machine. At the moment, to upload YouTube videos, I do it overnight, and I basically leave my gaming PC on all night to upload YouTube videos. That's not a great solution. Basically it's going to cut down the life of all the components in my PC, and it uses a lot more power than it needs to. So this little box now does all my YouTube uploads. Simply plug a USB stick into the side, upload the videos from that. It's also spending its life connected to my TV, and I'm using it as a smart TV box to control Amazon Prime and Netflix and all that kind of stuff, because it's far easier, I find, doing it through Windows than it is doing it through the apps on the TV. So the box itself was £60, and I spent £10 on a wireless keyboard and trackpad combination, and another 15 quid on 64 gig memory card to put in it. So it's a cheap solution, and it lets me upload all the videos without having my PC on, and it also means I can run Windows 10 on my TV. On to health news, and I thought I was having scan appointments at the beginning of January. Now I don't know if there's been some confusion or whether I got the wrong end of the stick, but it would seem that the appointments were being made at the beginning of January, so they're probably going to happen end of January, beginning of February. So when I rang up to say I don't know when my appointments are, they said, well, that's because they haven't been made yet. So hopefully I'll get a letter in the next couple of weeks to detail when the appointments are. Other than that, I'm feeling okay. You know, not great, but I'm feeling okay. No worse than I was before Christmas anyway. On to a few questions from the comments. So somebody asked me, I actually think it was on Twitter, if I would buy an Oculus Rift, or if I was going to buy an Oculus Rift. The answer to that is no. My eyesight means I can't use VR headsets. To use a VR headset you need pretty much perfectly balanced vision left eye to right eye. My right eye is a lot weaker than my left eye even with glasses, so I can't use VR headsets. I can barely use 3D glasses. If I had that kind of money laying around, I'd spend it on a new monitor. It would be a 1080p monitor, because I also can't tell the difference between 4K and 1080p when I look at it. So spending money on fancy graphics stuff really doesn't work. Fast graphics and faster refresh rates, yes, but actual image quality doesn't really affect me that much. So the next question from the comments is actually a few questions combined. It's, will I play other shooters and put them on the channel? So things like CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege, new one from Blizzard, which is name I can't remember, Warframe, that kind of stuff. Let's start with the Blizzard shooter, which was Overwatch, that's it. So Overwatch was a closed beta. You had to be invited into it, so you had to either be a big YouTuber who was going to get an audience, or you had to be tied into a company that had done a deal with Blizzard. I'm a very small channel with about 20,000 subscribers. I ain't going to get into those things. Might get into Battlefield 5 things, but that would be another subject for another time. To be honest, most of these really early betas and closed betas that get flooded onto YouTube make me sick of the game before the game is launched. So things like Hearthstone, which was another Blizzard one, I'd seen every card and all the playstyles before the game even launched, so there was no point playing it. So the strong possibility is that anything that's in an early beta stage or a closed beta stage, which is invite only, you're not going to see on my channel. You might see it on some of the big gamers, but you're not going to see it here. Moving on to Rainbow Six Siege and CSGO. There's a reason you don't see them on the channel, even though I own them both, is that I don't like them. I only cover games that I actually like, not a review channel, so I could put up Rainbow Six Siege footage, in fact I recorded it and narrated it, but basically all it said was, I really don't like this game. So there wasn't any real positive reason to put the video out. Same thing with CSGO, I just don't like the style of the game, so I don't play it, and I'm not going to play things just to put them on the channel and then say I really don't like this. The game that convinced me of this was Advanced Warfare. I bought Advanced Warfare, I played it, and I did some videos on it. But really I didn't enjoy the game that much, so I ended up having to play the game to get the footage to explain why I didn't like playing the game. And that's kind of self-defeating. I'm not doing this for a living, so there's lots of things when you're doing a job that you have to do that you don't enjoy, but you have to do them because that's what your job is. This isn't my job, it's just something I do for fun, so doing things that aren't fun for fun isn't fun. So on the channel you're only going to get games that I enjoy. So you had Wolf Among Us, which I put up and nobody really watched, and you got Fallout 4, which I put up and nobody really watches. The channel's based around Battlefield 4 and is pretty much always going to be based around Battlefield titles and Battlefield news and all that kind of stuff. That's what gets the most views, and to be honest it's the thing that I enjoy producing the most because I like Battlefield 4 and I like Battlefield titles. I'm interested in what might be coming in 2016 for Battlefield 4, what might be coming for Battlefield 5, all that kind of stuff interests me, and I enjoy making even the what some people would consider dull news videos I think are really interesting. If people want to watch them, that's great, but it's what I enjoy making. I don't understand what gets people viewing videos. I've got 20,000 subscribers, a good Battlefield 4 video might get 1,000 views. Most of my views for the channel come from people who aren't subscribed, and it's on videos that are really old, and it's the weapon unlock videos. Most of the stuff that I make on this channel nobody really watches, or very few people watch, and I don't understand what the difference is between one video and a video that's very similar getting half the number of views. An interesting demonstration of this is the Zodiac Community Mission videos. Some of them have got half the views of others, even though the titles are almost identical and the content is pretty much identical. For some reason, one in the middle might have half the views of the one before it and the one after it. I don't understand YouTube and how people view videos. A lot of the times I just find myself flicking through videos and watching random stuff, so I assume that's what everybody else does. But as long as I enjoy making the videos and somebody's watching them, I'll continue making them. Right, so time for one final question, because I want to keep this under 10 minutes, and that is, why aren't I getting this on PS3 or 360? So a lot of the new features and maps and new netcode isn't appearing on the old generation consoles. The answer to that is pretty simple, your consoles are just too old. When the game was released in 2013, you didn't get a full version of Battlefield 4 even then. You got smaller maps, less player numbers, because your console couldn't run the full version of Battlefield 4. The big restriction, and the reason why the old consoles aren't getting the updates, is because of the memory. You've got 512 megabytes of memory in the old gen consoles. The new gen consoles have got 8 gigabytes of memory. That's pretty standard for a gaming PC, although most of them now have got 16 or 32 gigs of memory in them. Adding better netcode that's got more updates and is using more processing power, more memory, adding more maps that also take up memory, none of this is possible on the older consoles because you're just out of space. You can run what came with the basic game and what came with the DLCs, but even that you're running in a cut down form. Now unfortunately this isn't just a problem for the old gen consoles, it's already becoming a problem with the new gen consoles. An example of that is Dragon Valley. If you watch some of my videos you might remember that Dragon Valley used to look even better and had even more detail in it when it was on CTE. And that's because the footage was from the PC only version of CTE. When it had to go onto consoles it had to lose some of the detail, and it's just a simple fact of life. Consoles are not as powerful as PCs, and it's not like the two consoles are evenly balanced. If you look at Battlefield 4 on the PlayStation 4, it runs at 900p. If you look at Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One, it runs at 720p. and even at those resolutions you're lucky if you're going to get a consistent frame rate. So your graphics quality, your frame rate, your netcode, even down to what features are available in-game is all going to depend on what you're running it on. And unfortunately for the console users, if you're running it on a PC, you're going to get a better experience than if you're running it on a new gen console. And if you're on a new gen console, you're going to get a better experience than if you're on an old gen console. In fact, when it comes to Battlefield games, development for the old gen consoles is effectively over. I don't think any of the CTE work we're going to see in the future is going to appear on the old gen consoles, and Battlefield 5 certainly isn't going to appear on the old gen consoles either. Anyway, that's overrun the 10 minutes, so let's end this before I get to 11 minutes. Answered a few questions, given you a bit of news, and hopefully it's been moderately interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching.